Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Canada Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So checking with the jet stream here on Friday morning, we've really got a mess across much of North America. As far as the continental portion of North America goes, we'll be watching this next wave coming in off the west coast, and that is going to be a big driver in our weather here as we head through the next 4 to 5 days. Otherwise, we have a couple short waves within the flow here. We've got one across the northern plains of the U.S., kicking off thunderstorms along a frontal boundary in this area. We've got another wave making its way through parts of the Canadian Prairie, bringing some showers and storms to the area here early on Friday morning as well. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. But where are we headed? Well, as we head into the early part of next week, looking at Monday now, the jet stream flow again. Here comes this wave blasting into the northern plains, kicking off an area of low pressure across the Canadian Prairie. And that is going to bring some heavy precipitation to parts of the western prairie, parts of Manitoba. Also going to keep some cooler air filtered into much of the eastern region as well. I believe I said the western prairie. I meant heavier precipitation to the eastern prairie, if that is what I said. Looking at the temperature forecast for the next 10 days, our temperature anomalies. Again, cooler as we look at the next 5 days across much of the prairie. As we head through the 5 days here that follow, as we get into the end of August, the beginning of September, that cool air sticks around but does move slowly off to the east, keeping the coldest of the temperatures, the coolest, most below average. I shouldn't say cold yet, it is August. But those cooler temperatures are going to be most dramatic here across parts of southern Manitoba and then southern Saskatchewan as we get into the end of August, the first couple of days of September, when we'll actually be building some warmth back into the west as we develop some ridging on the back side of that trough here across parts of British Columbia, and then portions of Alberta perhaps feeling some of that warmth as we get into late August, early September as well. The precipitation forecast, the GFS ensemble on the left, we've got the European ensemble on the right. Some good similarities here, especially as we look at the Canadian prairies here. I would lean toward the European long-range forecast here on the right and how it's got it laid out here with wetter conditions here across parts of south and eastern Saskatchewan into much of Manitoba over the next week. That's where our highest precipitation chances are going to be, with drier conditions off to the west here across parts of Alberta. A little less dramatic with the dryness on the GFS ensemble, but I really do think precipitation going to be more scattered to isolated in this region, with the heavier precipitation sticking across much of Manitoba. As we head into the satellite picture, head into Friday morning now, awaiting the sunrise here coming in from the right side of the screen. We do have some showers and storms ongoing again across parts of central and southern Manitoba. Pretty pleasant start to the day on Friday here across Alberta, although we're watching this wave coming in from the west, going to bring some cloud cover and precipitation to the region here shortly. We'll take a look at the radar then, what's going on underneath those clouds. Again, here are the showers and storms between Saskatoon and Regina. Those are slowly making their way off to the east. And again, a pleasant start to the day across much of Manitoba. We are seeing some of that shower activity start to make its way into the region now off to the west around Grand Prairie. And then maybe some very light showers off to the south here across Medicine Hat and maybe east of Calgary by just a little bit. As we look at the jet stream flow, then how does this progress over the next week? And then how do things evolve for us here on the Canadian Prairie? Again, here is this wave attempting to blast in from the west here on Friday morning. Take the drawings right back off of there, and then we'll just play this out over the next week or so. And we will do so just over time here, taking it through the weekend. Here comes this wave blasting into the northern plains of the U.S. right now, kicking off the development of an area of low pressure here across the Canadian Prairie by the time we get to the early part of next week. This upper level low kind of spins away then once it gets off to the east over the Hudson Bay, just kind of spins away, keeping cooler temperatures. Again, that's what's going to keep cooler temperatures across this region as we get this just counterclockwise flow sticking around in this region. Some subtle ridging across this region on the backside is what is going to allow some warmth to kind of try and build back into this region. But again, kind of can divide it in half by the time we get to the end of the next week, with the cooler temperatures in this region starting to warm slightly as we head back off to the west. That's going to show itself here when we just look at the temperature anomaly forecast. I love getting ahead of myself and trying to draw the map I have on the next slide on the previous slide. So here we'll take a look at the temperature forecast here and show you where those cooler temps will be. That's where we'll look for the blue and the green shading. Again, close to average as we go through the weekend as this storm system kind of gets organized. And then once it begins to move off to the west, that's when to the east, that's when we start to see some of those cooler temperatures making their way in. Here we're on Tuesday, and that's where you're seeing a lot of this cooler air locked in again across the southern half of Saskatchewan, and then much of Manitoba going to be below average. And this extends all the way south into the Corn Belt. It's not just a Canadian prairie thing. But here you see on the backside some subtle ridging, bringing some warmth back into parts of British Columbia, parts of Alberta. By the time we get to the middle part of next week, we'll see how much further this goes. I should take it out to Friday. By the time we get to Friday, still watching those cooler temperatures holding on the east, watching the warmth over here. So kind of doing something like this there, where we got warmth building in on the west, cooler temperatures on the to the east here as we head into mid to late next week. So really a cooler look in Manitoba, cool and wet in Manitoba, cool and near average precipitation in Saskatchewan, and then maybe a warming up in Alberta as we head into, again, mid to late next week. It'll be near average or cooler to start things off in Alberta as we go through the weekend. Now, is there going to be any severe weather? Well, this is something I'm playing with here. This is a thunderstorm environment index that I actually developed here, and I'm going to play it out here, and then it's kind of just qualifying the thunderstorm environment, the severe thunderstorm environment, and we'll look for the higher colors if we're looking for a higher odds or an environment that's more conducive to strong to severe thunderstorms. And we'll want to watch what happens with this frontal passage here as we head through the early part of the week. Do we see the threat for strong to severe storms across the Canadian prairie? I would say, as we talk about Saturday and then perhaps Sunday off to the east, maybe a low risk. Let's get it back here to Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. A low risk of a strong storm across parts of central and southern Alberta, or central and southern Saskatchewan, central and southern Manitoba. A low risk for a strong storm, but as this passes, I think we'll be looking more at just rain and general thunderstorm activity, not a big severe weather threat as we talk about the Canadian prairie for the next several days. The total, the precipitation forecast here and surface pressure, this will show us that next area of low pressure developing. Again, as we head through the day on Friday, here's where this area of shower and storm activity is ongoing across central and southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. This first wave makes its way off to the east as we get into Saturday night. You're watching it progress now off to the north and the east. Keeping rain in the forecast, though, especially across Manitoba. It's a wet look here. So let's step back. Here is Friday, and then Saturday. Could be a breezy Saturday across parts of southern Manitoba with rain and thunderstorms in the forecast. Again, maybe a low risk of a strong storm on Saturday across central and southern Manitoba. As we get into Sunday now, this first system is exiting, but now we're starting to see the development of our next big area of low pressure as this wave comes punching in from the west. Here is that area of low pressure again developing kind of near the Saskatchewan and Manitoba border Sunday night, and then slowly making its way off to the east as we head through the day on Sunday into Monday now. We're into Monday evening, still watching this area of low pressure spinning away across this region. Again, it's cool, it's rainy, it's perhaps breezy across much of Manitoba, and then a good chunk of Saskatchewan as well. Now we're getting through Monday into Tuesday now. Tuesday, this thing is still spinning away. We're breezy across Manitoba, we're cooler across Manitoba, and we're dealing with rain on the backside here. Now definitely not talking about a severe weather risk. This is a cool, windy rain on the backside of this area of low pressure here on Tuesday across Manitoba. As we head into Wednesday, this thing's still trying to kind of hold on, moving out of here, but we've got another kind of clipper-like system moving through, bringing another shot of cooler air and some rain to the region. So as we talk about Manitoba, almost daily chances for rain, and much of it next week going to be a cool and perhaps breezy at times rain. As we look at Saskatchewan, more scattered in nature, maybe chances for rain every couple of days in that region. And then Alberta, off to the west, keeping you a bit drier as we head through the next week, with high pressure kind of building back in by the time we get to mid to late next week. Taking a look at the total precipitation forecast, this will definitely kind of outline things here as you look at this region right here from, we'll say, eastern Saskatchewan into much of Manitoba. This is where we expect the heaviest precipitation to be in this general region right here. As we talk about areas off to the west, not completely dry as we look at Alberta, but certainly more isolated, more scattered in nature. The more significant precipitation going to be off to the east. We'll take a zoomed in look now. Here is Alberta. We'll play the precipitation forecast for the next week. Again, chances for precipitation across all of Alberta, but it's isolated, it's scattered in nature. Some people are going to be dry, some will get downpours. It's very hit or miss, uneven distribution of precipitation. But at the very least, everyone is going to see at least a shot as we head through especially the weekend and then mid to late next week. Your high temperature forecast in Alberta for the day on Friday, upper teens, low 20s for many. Warm off to the south as we head through the day on Saturday. This is when that next storm system is beginning to organize. Here's your high temperatures on Sunday, Monday, And then Tuesday, we start the warm up in this region. I would imagine as we head into the day on Wednesday and Thursday, perhaps warmer still in this area as we begin to bring in warmer air in advance of the next storm system. Pivoting off to the east, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, total precipitation for the next week. Again, this is where we'll be watching for the more significant precipitation kind of in this region. Maybe a corridor of more significant precipitation with a wave that comes through here midweek next week off to the north in Saskatchewan, but really going to be focused in on this region for more significant precipitation, a cool and rainy, perhaps breezy at times week ahead across Manitoba. Your high temperature forecast then here is Friday, warm off to the south, upper 20s possible, mid-teens off to the north. Warm air advection in advance of that next storm system. Here we go. We are warmer off to the south for the day on Saturday. Front comes through on Sunday, Monday, and then here is Tuesday, especially cool. As remember, this thing just kind of spins away as we get to midweek. It is going to be a cool, breezy, rainy couple of days across Manitoba. High temperatures in the single digits in this region where we're dealing with some very heavy precipitation and some gusty winds by the time this is a Tuesday look. So early to mid next week, going to be a bit raw for some of you here across Manitoba. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday morning ag forecast video, and you can catch your next Canadian Prairie regional forecast on Tuesday morning. Have a great day and have a wonderful weekend.